everyone, welcome to This Evening with Nikki, parenting and relationship life coach. Today I want to talk to you guys about the 12 early signs that your relationship might not last. But at first, as always, don't forget to like and share our videos, download the Togetherness TV app, subscribe on YouTube, and like this segment. So let's get started. One of the first things you want to look for when you're assessing your relationship to see if it's going to last is if the relationship is based solely on physical attraction. If your relationship doesn't have much more than just that physical attraction, your heart is pounding when you see the person, there's a lot of attraction there and it's based mostly on sex. There's no mental stimulation, no emotional connection. Chances are that relationship is not going to last for very long. Another thing is that you don't like the person's friends or their social circle, basically. They always say, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. If you don't really like the person that you're dating, their social circle, they're good friends, chances are that there's going to be a lot of things later on down the road that you're going to discover about the person that you're most likely not going to like. And it just doesn't work out when we don't like the friends and the close people of the person that we're dating. That relationship is not going to be able to sustain itself. So that's another thing to look for. Another thing is when you're spending way too much time with the person. In a relationship, we definitely need to have our own time. You have your time, they have their time, and of course you need to spend enough time together face to face as a couple. But when that becomes excessive, when you're only spending time with each other and you're not able to go out and do other things, you're stopping your hobbies, you're stopping hanging out with your friends, it can almost erode your own sense of self in that relationship, and it's not healthy. And again, that's also not sustainable for the long run. The next thing that you want to look for is if the relationship feels one-sided. If you are putting in way more than your partner is into the relationship, if you're putting in more effort, if you're putting in more monetarily, you're buying them things, you're paying for the dates, if you're calling them all the time, they're not calling you back. Basically, you're trying to move the relationship from one step to the other, which is definitely not good to do, especially when you're the woman. A man should always be the one that's taking the relationship from one step and one stage to the next. So that's another thing to look for. The next thing that you want to be aware of is if you're feeling controlled. If you're feeling controlled in a relationship, that relationship is not healthy, and chances are that that relationship would not last. A healthy relationship requires mutual respect, and they must also value your opinions. The next thing we want to look for is that if you cannot be yourself around them. If, in every relationship, there's a lot of things that we need to compromise. There's things that in yourself and your partner is also going to be changing, which are healthy compromises. But if you simply cannot be yourself in the relationship, they're changing your friends, they're changing the way that you dress, they're just completely trying to change everything about you, and you're feeling controlled about where you go and who you go with, that relationship again is not healthy and it's not going to last. The next thing is if you don't feel accepted, if you're constantly feeling judged by your partner, you feel that, they wish someone else was in front of them rather than the person that they have. This is not going to be good. You're constantly feeling judged. You're constantly trying to change yourself, which goes back to the last point that, you cannot be yourself around them. So when you're not feeling accepted by your partner, this is definitely a bad sign. Another thing is that you guys are fighting all the time, especially in the early stages. The honeymoon phase, the first 3-4 months of a relationship, everyone is on their best behavior. And if you're constantly finding that you guys are fighting, you may have very different worldviews, very different beliefs, and you guys just might not be a good match at all. Another thing to look for is trust. Is there a lack of trust? Without trust in a relationship, and I'm not saying we're going to get that in the very first few weeks or the first month, because trust is definitely something that's built, and they have to show you that they're trustworthy and that you can trust the person. But if you're finding yourself that you're constantly seeing little clues that this person might be lying to you, might be making up stories, there's signs that they might be seeing multiple people at the same time. Just a lack of trust is not something that is going to fix itself on its own. So if there's no trust in the very beginnings of the relationship, it's not going to change later on. Another thing to look forward is that this person is regularly mean to other people. It's kind of the Jekyll and Hyde syndrome. They're very sweet, they're very kind, putting on that facade, that mask of trying to win you over, obviously impress you in the very beginnings. Yet every time you're out, every time you're in public, they're rude to the waiter, they're rude to the cashier. They're not the same person that they are with you. So chances are that this person is not a very nice person, maybe some narcissistic tendencies. We talked about narcissism in one of our other segments. Definitely go back and look at that one. And, the chances are that the facade is going to come off and they're going to start to be very mean towards you. And another thing for us to look at is, if we are being mean to our partner, do we actually love this person the way that, our mind is telling us that we do? Throughout the day, hundreds of times a day, our own brain lies to us. You're fat, you're ugly, you're not good enough, you're in love with this person, you want to stay married to that person. Our brain tells us so many different lies throughout the day, and sometimes it's that, we're still in love with our partner when we truly aren't. So if you're the person that finds yourself being mean to the person that you think you're in love with, you should kind of assess yourself, look at that relationship, be honest with yourself. Because if you're not in love with your partner, it might be much healthier for you to end that relationship, and you both can move on and find someone that you can both be happy with. So you'll be doing yourself a favor as well as the person that you're dating. Another thing to look forward is if they are passive aggressive. If there's when they're being passive aggressive, they're avoiding direct and clear communication, they're giving you the cold shoulder, and that means that there is an issue with the two-way communication of this relationship. You're trying to communicate, you're trying to sit down, talk with them when there's issues, but the other person is not willing to communicate. They prefer to give you the cold shoulder for days. They prefer to avoid, distract with other things to take your mind off of whatever you want to sit down and discuss with them. And this is not going to help anyone. It's not good for anyone. It's not going to benefit you in the long run, because you need to have someone that is able to have mature communication and conversations with you in your relationship. No relationship is gonna be only ups. There's ups and downs. There are definitely gonna be times where you don't see eye to eye. When there's fights and arguments, the most important thing in the relationship is how you address those fights. How do you fight? Is the person starting to put you down, disrespect you, using bad language and cursing, or are they mature enough to have a back and forth dialogue with you to try and actually fix the problem and solve whatever the issue is? And finally is the timing might be off. They might be a great person. They may not have any of these other red flags and issues to look at, but the timing is just off. Maybe for them, maybe for you. Maybe you want to focus on your career right now. You don't have the time and energy to invest into building a new relationship. Maybe they're starting a new program, they're in a master's program, they want to finish their education, and as much as the emotional, mental, physical attraction and everything is there, the timing just isn't right. And that's okay. You will find someone where the timing and everything else is right. Just keep looking and you will find them. They're out there. So I hope you guys got some good points out of the talk today. I hope you guys found it useful. Don't forget to like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the app, and it was nice to talk with you guys. Until next time, take care. From Togetherness TV, this is Nikki.
Togetherness Media. Togethernessmedia.com.